David Sampson is the former Deputy Secretary of the U.S. Department of Commerce, and he is now the President and CEO of the Property Casualty Insurers Association of America. David, thanks a lot for joining us.
Thanks, DeMarco.
All right, for business owners who were forced to close their doors during these storms, what can they do to recover quickly and get their businesses back open again, and how difficult is that process?
Well, we know from history it's a difficult process. 1 in 4 small businesses that close during a major natural catastrophe never reopen again. And those are obviously very concerning statistics. The most important thing for business owners who are already impacted is to call their insurance agent or company immediately. Take pictures and videotape all of the damage that you've encountered. And our goal as an industry is to get checks into the hands of policyholders just as quickly as possible to get families back in their homes, cars back on the roads, and businesses open again.
And David, how about for the millions of people whose homes were damaged and flooded by these storms? What can the government do to help them during this recovery process?
Well, obviously, FEMA is very engaged in the recovery efforts right now. There's already been a special appropriation by Congress for the first tranche of money for disaster relief. That money is being put to good use in Houston to get debris cleared away from the street side so that people can begin to get back in their homes. Eventually, there will be a process for disaster recovery loans through FEMA. But the most important thing for all of those homeowners is call your insurance agent right away. Take pictures of the damage and be very, very wary and careful of contractors who come in the neighborhood pressuring you to sign on the dotted line or sign a contract and telling you if you don't sign with them right away, you're going to be at the back of the line when it comes to being able to get your house repaired.
Yeah, got to be careful, which actually leads us to our next question. What risks should homeowners be on the lookout for as they start cleaning up and rebuilding their homes?
Well, unfortunately, we know that there are bad actors who follow in the wake of these storms to prey on storm victims. So only use reputable restoration companies. Make sure you check the references. Don't sign a contract that for repairs that you haven't read carefully. Know what work is to be done. Know the time period. Know the cost. Never pay for that work up front. And just use reputable companies. Your insurance agent and adjuster can help provide you with a list of very reputable contractors in the area. You can check the Better Business Bureau, but don't, in the midst of a disaster, don't become victim to bad actors. And we know in every disaster, they're out there walking neighborhoods.
That is great advice. A final question for you. Looking down the road now, what can cities and their residents do to prepare for the next storm?
Well, we're going to learn a lot of lessons from these hurricanes. You know, after 1992, there were significant improvements in building codes in Florida after Hurricane Andrew. And it's going to be very interesting to see the impact of those new building codes and all that new construction in Florida and how it withstood Irma. So improving building codes. We've got to think through our building strategies on the most vulnerable pieces of land. And one of the most important pieces of advice in preparing for the next natural disaster is we encourage consumers, whether they be homeowners or businesses, to really talk to your insurance agent to make sure you understand the insurance policy and the coverage that you have. You know, one of the tragedies in this is that people often don't know that their regular homeowner's policy does not cover flood. That has to be purchased through a separate policy and has for decades. And we want people to understand the cost of the policy, their deductibles, and the time to do that is right now before the next storm hits another part of the country.
A major wake-up call. David Sampson in Washington. David, thank you.
Thank you, DeMarco.